Hello everybody, in this lecture let's study about the functions of the GST Council. GST Council gives recommendations. It recommends on how much tax, how much cess, how much surcharge has to be levied by three levels of government, namely the central government, state government and local body, which may be subsumed in the GST. And it also recommends on what goods and services should be levied GST and what goods and services should be brought outside the scope of GST. And it has to give a model GST laws. It has to say on what principles the GST can be levied. And it has to recommend on the percentage of IGST. And it also says recommends on the principles that are to be used to govern the place of supply. Say if a particular good is produced in a particular state, then how much GST has to be imposed on the production of a particular good is what the GST Council has to recommend upon. And it also recommends on the threshold limit of turnover below which the GST can be exempted for the goods or services. And it has to provide recommend on the GST slabs, that is the GST floor rate with the bands. And during a natural calamity that strikes a state or any place, it recommends on special rates in order to raise additional resources, because additional revenue is absolutely necessary for the state to overcome the natural calamity. So the special rates can be recommended by the GST Council. And special provision is also given to certain states, which includes 7 northeastern states of India, plus Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. And it can also recommend on any other matter that relates to the GST, as the council may decide from time to time. The GST Council can also recommend on the date from which the GST can be levied on petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, also known as petrol, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel. Because as of now, these commodities are outside the scope of GST. GST is not levied over these items. So GST Council can recommend on the date from which these items are subjected to the taxation. And say GST has recommended something and the states are not really willing to accept the recommendation, then there is a possibility of dispute to occur, and this GST Council also provides for the resolution of dispute. And the GST Council also recommends on the compensation that is to be given to the state. But it is important to note that if a state loses its revenue due to the imposition of GST, then the compensation it is a mandatory for the parliament to give the compensation to the states by passing a law. It's not as per the whims and fancies. The parliament will collectively have to sit together and pass a law to provide compensation to the particular state for any loss of revenue that it incurs for a period of 5 years or less. And how much compensation is to be given to the state will be recommended by the GST Council. So that is it with the functions of the GST Council.